Seeing this, Dante Cain did not stay idle. As he put his palms together, the dark green light on his body became brighter and brighter. On the ground, more green smoke began to appear around Zane Martel and condensed into 4 or 8 dark green skeleton arms. Each of the arms was holding a chain and a cage, which looked even more sinister and terrifying than before.
4 ghost prison chain attack.
With a command from Dante Cain, the 4 iron cages joined into a tight dragnet, blotting out the sky and charging toward Zane Martel. Mid-air, there was a willpower attack from Paulson Colt. There were continuous skull attacks all around. Everyone was concerned for Zane Martel. The elders in the audience seats held their breath, their nerves fraying. With a twitch of his brows, Zane Martel transformed both of his hands into a seal, and a green glow emitted from his palms.
Human Emperor's palm.
The huge palm swept in all directions. The powerful attack actually swept away all the skeleton arms summoned by Dante Cain. The skeleton arms were completely shattered before bursting into a cloud of smoke.
Human Emperor's palm.
This time, Zane Martel's palm, which had been thrown out, was holding the semi-dragon bone. The special function of the rune on it seemed to be applied to the Human Emperor's palm. No sooner had it collided with the venomous mind-devouring blade than the two perished together in an instant. Both Paulson Colt's and Dante Cain's expressions turned grave. Zane Martel was too strong, far beyond their initial assessment of his strength. Paulson Colt looked at the semi-dragon bone in Zane Martel's hand and revealed a greedy look. He actually spoke to Dante Cain for the first time.
Zane Martel is the bane of my existence. Why don't we join hands and finish him off first?
If it were in the past, I wouldn't be caught dead cooperating with vermin like you. However, your method is not impossible. This time around, we will do as you say.
Dante Cain had actually agreed.
First of all, I want the dragon bone in his hand. Don't you harbor any thoughts about that. The rest is yours.
Paulson Colt had set his sights on the semi-dragon bone, which he wanted more than he wanted Zane Martel.
Be my guest.
Zane Martel was not surprised by the joint effort of these two people. He had even expected it to happen, but it would not have much effect on him even if they joined forces. Dante Cain took a few steps forward, and the green light on his body shone brighter before actually revealing a green crown above his head. Yes, it was indeed a crown, and it was green. At the moment when the crown was condensed, Dante Cain's momentum rose rapidly. He was in the late 8th stage of the expert level, approaching the 9th stage of the expert level. In addition, an all-powerful king's aura was released from his body. It was extremely sinister, as if he was an evil spirit from hell that once again descended into the world of mortals.
I did not intend to kill you, Zane Martel, but I am bound to my word. May I suggest you die obediently in my hands?
No can do.
Well then, I'll give you a hand.
With a snap of his fingers, a 12-meter-long green light curtain appeared behind Dante Cain. Behind the light curtain came a clamorous sound, getting louder and louder, as if thousands of troops and horses were passing by. Suddenly, a skeleton came out of it. Soon, there was a second and a third one. There were more and more of them, as many as 100. Moreover, every skeleton's breath was at least at the 5th stage of the expert level.
Oh my God, isn't this the ghost soldier of the strange little world?
How did he summon the ghost soldiers? It's impossible.
The geniuses who came out of the strange little world and became the Carlton Guards, or the Dragon Envoy of Carlton, were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. Although there were some differences in their appearance, it was definitely the ghost soldiers. Mr. Busher couldn't stay calm in the face of such a bizarre occurrence, but he quickly figured it out.
They are indeed the ghost soldiers, but they don't come from the strange little world. Well, isn't Dante Cain an interesting character?
The skeleton soldiers, like locusts, rushed toward Zane Martel. The sharp claws in their hands seemed to be able to break through the void.
Human Emperor's palm. Human Emperor's palm. Human Emperor's palm.
Zane Martel struck out 3 Human Emperor's palms in a row, merging them into wind and thunder, and the horrible energy swept over. Wind and thunder were the natural enemies of the ghost soldiers, and they were no exception at the moment. 3 deafening sounds were heard in succession. More than 100 skeletons of the ghost soldiers were swallowed up in an instant and turned into dragon eye-sized divine feminine energy soul beads.
Do you have the means to kill the ghost soldiers?
Are you blind? Use your eyes for once.
Zane Martel's words had nearly angered Dante Kane. He coldly turned his head around and impatiently asked,
Are you done yet? Why are you taking so long?
Paulson Colt's voice came from behind.
Zane Martel, let's see how you can block this time around.
Seeing this, Dante Kane put away the green light. Behind the light curtain, there was a huge monster. The monster was like a huge, ugly worm, scarlet all over, with a pair of almost transparent worm wings on its back. This was the Guna spirit-eating insect. However, between the eyebrows of the Guna spirit-eating insect was Paulson Colt, and at this moment, the lower part of Paulson Colt's body had been integrated into the insect. He looked extremely ferocious and nauseatingly disgusting. However, his strength and aura had risen several levels, and he had also reached the 9th stage of the expert level. This was the divine skill that Paulson Colt had practiced. It was the god-devouring venomous insect technique. It had been designed to lure the people to the Dragon Meridian of the South Sea to extract their willpower. It was also for the sake of practicing the god-eating insect heart technique.
Zane Martel, let's see how you can block my attack this time around.
Come on, give it a try.
There were dozens of tentacles under the belly of the monster Paulson Colt had transformed into. Its strong willpower was attached to the tentacles. The wings on his back suddenly flapped, and he actually soared into the air. He swiftly approached Zane Martel and struck him with his tentacles. Seeing this, Zane Martel broke into a frown.
Oh, I sure will. I'm not afraid of you.
Zane Martel deployed the Sky Demon 99 transformations and pounded his chest with both hands. The vital energy in his body circulated wildly. His body expanded rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. It transformed into a pitch-black ape with a mysterious vertical eye between its eyebrows and a blood skull pattern of the Ghost King Dragon Ape on its back. The moment the Ghost King Dragon Ape appeared, the earth sank. The Ghost King Dragon Ape roared. The mountain-like big hand grabbed the tentacle hard and tremendous power was transmitted. Ghost King Dragon Ape stamped his foot. Even though the arena was supported by a magical formation, countless cracks could still be seen on it. The entire arena seemed to be on the verge of falling apart.
Get down here.
Zane Martel suddenly exerted force and directly pulled the now monster Paulson Colt down from the sky and smashed it to the ground. A mechanical clicking sound from the monster was heard. The abyss-like mouth in front of the monster began to cough up blood as it emitted a torrent of weird and eerie noises. By extension, Paulson Colt's body was injured as well, spurting a copious amount of blood from his mouth. But even though it was injured, the monster's tentacles still did not forget to whip Zane Martel, giving rise to a crackling sound. This kind of strength naturally could not bring any harm to the body of the Ghost King Dragon Ape. However, Paulson Colt had wrapped his willpower around the monster's whole body. As it was, the monster was hitting and attacking Zane Martel with his willpower. Fortunately, Zane Martel's semi-dragon bone could bear the brunt of most of the damage from the attacks. Armed with the strength of his willpower, he could still withstand the rest of the damage. The huge body of the Ghost King Dragon Ape directly pressed the monster under its crotch, and its mountain-like fist hit the monster hard. Every time it threw a punch, the earth would shake. Every time it threw a punch, the monster would cough up blood. Evidently, the fusion of the Guna spirit-eating insect and Paulson Colt could not change the frailty of the latter's physical body.
Ghost King Cannon.
Grabbing the monster with both hands, the Ghost King Dragon Ape suddenly sucked in a deep breath. It seemed it had siphoned off every last bit of the vital force in its proximity. Its stomach suddenly swelled, and a terrifying vital energy fluctuation emanated from the depths of its throat. Paulson Colt was petrified. The memory of having almost been hit by the Ghost King cannon came back to him, as was the nightmarish experience of having almost been killed by the Guna spirit-eating insect. Panicked, he scrambled to ask for help.
Dante Kane, don't just stand there. Hurry up and help me.
Compared with the Ghost King Dragon Ape and the insect, Dante Kane was like an ant that could be flicked away at this moment. There was no sign of complacency to be found on his face. Zane Martel's strength had far exceeded his expectations. Even if he let Zane Martel defeat Paulson Colt first, he might not be Zane Martel's match.
I don't need you to tell me what to do. Divine Bone Celestial Body, the Skeleton Emperor.
Dante Kane was emanating an extremely sinister aura. A huge green swamp extended from his feet and almost flooded the entire broken arena. One bubble after another came out. A strong sense of shock came. A 20 to 30 meter long skeleton arm stretched out from the bottom of the swamp, followed by a huge skull, until its whole body emerged. It was a skeleton 50 or 60 meters high. The skeleton was surrounded by a layer of green flowing light, and its bones were as white as jade. The moment it appeared, it directly sucked Dante Kane into its body. This was the Skeleton Emperor. Outside the ring, all the people were stunned and almost forgot to breathe.
Strong, too strong. The trio is so powerful that it's beyond the impossible.
D** minute. Are the generation now really this savage? How are the older folks going to live with this?
Heavens, they are drastically raising the bar. Hey, didn't you just say that Zane Martell was the weakest?
The blue-robed elder questioned the yellow-robed elder again. However, when the yellow-robed elder saw this scene, he was stunned. He waved his hand and gave a dry laugh.
All right, I was wrong. I'll redeem myself to you when there's no one else around. How about it? I'll perform a freak show for you and you only. Happy now?
The leading elders were usually at the semi-martial king level and possessed extraordinary strength. However, the three youngsters were not weaker than them, not at all. In fact, they were even half stronger than them. Mr. Busher, who was closest to the ring, saw it clearly. His face was stiff, and the corners of his mouth kept twitching.
Were these the top 3 candidates for the Dragon Envoy of Newland's selection? They were so strong that even the arena with the formation had broken apart. If it had been in the past, any one of them could have definitely become the Dragon Envoy of Newland.
Alas, it's true that talents come out of every generation, and the older generation will be replaced.
The 3 of you, be careful. Don't cause too much damage to the arena.
However, in the face of the 3-headed behemoths that were fighting, the words of Mr. Busher appeared pale and powerless.
Kali sword.
The huge skeleton made a grab with one hand and pulled out a rib from its chest. The rib suddenly changed into a huge and sharp bone sword. The bone sword was waved and cut toward the Ghost King Dragonape. The Ghost King Dragonape was pushed dozens of meters away, stopping the Ghost King cannon in its tracks. In the end, the 3 giant beasts stood in a triangle position, facing each other, just like the beginning of this chaotic battle. However, in the beginning, they had not even thought Zane Martell was worthy. But now, Zane Martell had become their biggest adversary.
With the 2 of you coming at me together, no problem. Come on up.
Like an ancient devil god, the Ghost King Dragonape thumped its chest and lurched toward them. Kill.
Kill.
The insect and the Skeleton Emperor charged forward at almost the same time. The earth quaked as the 3 behemoths exchanged dozens of blows. Each time they exchanged blows, the surrounding array formations dimmed slightly. It seemed that it was teetering on the verge of collapse. Mr. Busher was so scared that he rushed to repair it, lest their attacks harm the people outside the arena. The Kali sword landed heavily on the body of the Ghost King Dragonape, but it did not cause any damage. Regardless of physical or mental attacks from the insect, they had all been blocked by Zane Martell.
Strongest among the strongest. These 3 monsters are to be feared.
But the strongest was still Zane Martell. The Ghost King Dragonape roared and leaped into the air. It pressed its 2 huge palms on the Skeleton Emperor and the strange insect, immobilizing them on the ground. In the form of an insect monster, Paulson Colt struggled for a moment, but failed to break free from the suppression of the Ghost King Dragonape. He could only curse.
Bastard Zane Martell, you actually had the audacity to walk all over me. Unforgivable. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to F***ing kill you.
Paulson Colt's tone was full of anger and killing intent, as if he would really kill Zane Martell in public as soon as he was released.
Kill me, can you, in this condition? Ghost King Cannon.
Zane Martell smiled coldly and suddenly inhaled a breath of air. The entire sky began to dim. The vital energy from all directions formed a tornado. It was like a funnel-shaped cyclone that was absorbed by Zane Martell. The abdomen of the Ghost King Dragonape began to swell violently. In the depths of its throat, a shocking light emerged and lit up the whole arena.
It's the Ghost King cannon, again?
No. Zane Martell, no, please don't. It took me a lot of effort to cultivate this Guna spirit-eating insect. Without it, I can't continue to practice the divine skill. Zane Martell, my lord, my king, my god. Let me go, please let me go. I won't fight with you. I won't stand in your way, okay?
Seeing the familiar aura in the ape's mouth, Paulson Colt was so disoriented that he forgot to say the most important word, I surrender. He just kept begging for mercy, begging Zane Martell not to use the Ghost King cannon on him. The horror of the Ghost King Cannon seemed to have been engraved in his blood when he was alive, and it would be imprinted on his body when he was dead.
Ghost King Cannon,